Happy Father's Day, everybody. Welcome to a bonus episode of the Baked In Podcast with my dad, Josh Allen. All of us kids got together to talk about growing up in the bakery and our favorite baked goods. Cool chance to tell our dad what we think. Let's roll.
Well, so this is kind of special, Father's Day week. Two of you guys out of town, Lucy in Seattle and Molly in Denver, and two of the knuckleheads and Sophie here in front of me. But I thought we would get together and have a little Father's Day conversation. I grew up, as you guys have, in a small business. Grandpa worked for Allen Foods for his family's business for like almost 50 years, I think 46 years when he retired. And I only have incredibly positive memories of what that experience was like. Like it was about passion and commitment and loyalty and responsibility, but all very cool. And it was all very ingrained in both Jody and I kind of growing up and recognizing that was just part of the deal. But I'm curious what it's been like for you guys as we think about another generation in another time. Like, what has that experience been like for you having a family small business? And Sophie, since you're the oldest, I'm going to throw it to you first.
Oh, I've loved it. I've really enjoyed growing up in the Companion family. One of the things that I think you told me when I was really young and that I've always remembered is that you can get in anywhere with a box of croissants. And I continue to meet people through sharing baked goods throughout my life, and it's really connected me to a lot of cool people, and it gets you in anywhere. So that has really definitely stuck with me. And then
coolest place that you got into with a box of croissants?
Ooh.
Is there a lot?
There's quite a few, but I think I got at least one job that way.
Well, okay.
I don't know. I'll have to think about that. I actually, just over this past weekend, I was at the Tower Grove Farmers Market. I went up to get a croissant from Comet Coffee has a little booth down there, and they gave me an extra, so I went and sat next to somebody randomly to go eat my croissant. I said, "Hey, do you want this croissant?" They gave me an extra one. He said, "That's really nice. Sure, are you sure?" And I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely." You know, my dad always told me to share croissants, and it turns out he and his partner own a painting school down on Cherokee that I'm gonna sign up for their painting cohort over the summer. When I get back, it's the month long from July to August.
Very cool.
And so I'm gonna sign up
Opens a lot of doors.
So it opens so literally just over this past weekend, it opened a door to meeting somebody who has very similar interests and connecting me to another community I'd love to be a part of. So yeah, it works every time.
What about you, Mo?
I think, as a kid, my fond memories are just eating fondant in the bakery and getting the little balls of fondant, or working at the farmer's market and, running around while you guys had the booth and it smelled like fresh bread, and I don't know, getting to play in the fountain downtown. But then I think as I've gotten older, I really just love continuing to learn about our family's passion for the food business. And even on your podcast, which I listen to, when I hearing Grandpa's episode, talking about how Allen Foods started with the buggy, and then listening to the episode with Jody and Andy and hearing about those stories of you guys growing up, I think that's a really cool. I just think it's such a cool thing that we've all experienced, and your generation, now our generation. And I know I've gotten to work at the cafe with Jody, and I have really fond memories of working with that team and then getting to pack bread over COVID and stuff. I think we all remember that in the factory. So I don't know. I think throughout my life, there's been different things that have stuck out to me, and it's still the treats. And maybe not so much fondant anymore, but cookies still get me excited. So.
Well, and you're in the education industry now, obviously working at a big preschool in Denver. How has any of the lessons learned from just growing up in small business that you apply to work? Do you think about it? Does it pop up randomly, or are there different experiences that you have that you think tie into sort of how you were raised?
Yeah, I definitely think, I think I'm going to butcher the line that you say, but all the work is work or all work has to be done or something.
It's all work and it all has to be done. That was what your great grandfather said.
It's the one I was trying. Yeah. Okay. That line. I think I've really applied that to like all of my jobs, and also in, the role I currently hold. Like, we have a staff lounge, and if things are dirty, like, you just got to clean it up, even if that's not my job. But I think I look at work as teamwork, and everything is, there's all work that has to be done, and it's all going to help in the long run. And then I also think your leadership with kindness definitely stuck with me. And I think you're such an involved leader in the business. Like, I see you out on the floor making bread and doing all the things, like you have your office, but I think that's a really cool, like, way to lead. And I respect that. And I want to do, I try to do that in my work, even if I'm not like a leader yet, because I'm new to the whole career thing. But those are things that have definitely stuck with me.
How about you, Lou? I mean, I know you're still in school, so there's no career path just yet, but I mean, you've spent a lot of time at the bakery.
Yeah, and I think going off of what Molly said about, I see work as teamwork. I feel like a lot of my experiences so far at school, I could have approached in a way that was like, I'm going to spearhead this, and this is going to be all my thing, and I'm going to take the credit for it. But I've really been able to like involve people that, my friends, but also people that I don't know if they would have had that like same involvement had I not like kind of tried to make it a team effort. Like, I've been involved in some really cool things at UW where I can travel with classes, and it's a really small class, and that small dynamic can really easily get like, I don't know, there can be drama, or there can be people that butt heads, and I've really lucked out. And I think that like working in the bakery and like growing up knowing that I don't know, like, I think that I learned a lot about what it takes to be a good team member.
You guys, do you talk about that at all with you talk about that at all with your friends? I mean, what your upbringing was like with small business, or are there other friends that you have that had similar experiences or completely different experiences?
I don't know of anyone else who has a family business at school. And I think a lot of the friends that I've made on those trips through school, like, they might be surprised at the way that I like handle group situations. Like, I don't know, there's always that one kid. I learned this from grandma, actually. There's always that one kid who's sitting alone at lunch. You just gotta invite him to eat with you. Like, the worst thing that could happen is you have like an awkward conversation, but the best thing is that it makes their day. And so I feel like that was my approach to a lot of those situations where I didn't know a lot of people in my classes or even at my job now. Like, I just chat them up, and then we just get to talking, and it's pretty fun.
No, and you always did a good job of that on the bakery floor. We've got a lot of languages that we speak on the bakery floor, and a lot of different backgrounds and experiences that come into the shop, and you guys have all been able to do such a really nice job of just kind of getting out there and again, making it happen and making that work happen. So I'm going to flip over to Elliot here. So just starting in high school, so a little bit younger than your sisters. And what's it like for you? I mean, you go to school down the street from the cafe, so there's some recognition of the family business, but what's it like for you growing up in a small business?
I just like remember hanging out at the factory in Maryland Heights a lot more. And the old Clayton location, I remember going in the back hanging out with you as like a little kid. But I guess my experiences is like people at school, I hear them talking about Companion all the time. Like, I don't think people, like, you're not allowed to DoorDash food to the school, but people do it all the time, and I always see the companion bags in the trash cans at school, which I guess it's really cool knowing that my dad is like people are.
Are you like me? Do you check and see if they've eaten everything and if they
No.
liked it?
No, I'm not. I mean, clearly they eat. It's like a fully scrunched up bag.
Okay, so
it's-
they enjoyed
yeah,
it.
Yeah, but I guess also being told to work a lot, not being forced or being asked to work a lot, like over weekends. This is my first summer where I'm gonna be working part-time. What is it? Part-time?
Yeah, part to full time.
Part to
We'll see
full-time.
how it goes.
But yeah, I guess a lot of
Does that excite you? Like, does that opportunity excite you? Does it frustrate you that you got to go to work? Like, where do you put that?
50-50 because there's times where I wake up, I'm like, oh, I got something to do, and I got something to do for 7 to 8 hours today. There's also times I'm like, oh shoot, I can't chill at home and enjoy the summer break. But I guess most of the time because like just today, this would have been my first day to go to work if we weren't filming the podcast, and I woke up pretty motivated today, so I would have really enjoyed it. And yeah, I mean, it's mostly positive for me.
That's awesome. What about you, Emerson? Youngest of the crew. What do you think about growing up in a small business family?
Yeah, basically like what Elliot said, like at school and a lot of places that are close to where the bakery is, they've talked about it a lot. Like I remember like 2 or 3 years ago, I was at a basketball camp and coaches were ordering lunch. They said, "You want to get Companion, the sandwich company?" And at the end of the week, the end of the camp, I gave all the coaches gift cards to Companion, which was really fun.
Did you tell them that you were the companion kid at the beginning of the week or the end of the week?
The end of the week, when
I did
gave
that
them-
too.
When I gave them the gift.
Because you gotta let people. I don't know if you guys had this experience in school also. I had a similar experience to Elliot when I went to Clayton High School because we had our Clayton Cafe location all 4 years that I was in high school there. So we would walk up and get Companion for lunch. Like people all at my
Yeah.
school were getting Companion for lunch, and I didn't tell people for a long time. Not a long time, but like I would become friends with them first because I didn't want people to be friends with me just because of the Companion connection, because it's a pretty compelling. I mean, there were people that'd be like, "You're the Companion girl, like can we get lunch sometime?" I'm like, you know what? I take my friends for lunch, okay? Like, yeah, me and my friends go every day, but they're friends with me because they like me and not just because of the Companion connection. So I did the same thing where you wait to tell them until you know,
Yeah.
that you're already good to go.
Because Ladue ends at 2:30, people go there literally every single day after school.
Yeah.
I have a friend that walks up there and gets the same thing every single day after school.
All my friends would get the same thing every day too, and I'm like, you don't want to switch it up? We have a whole menu. They're like, no, this is my absolute favorite. I will not eat anything else.
And next year, I'm going to the Ladue Middle School, which is like right, like literally a block away from.
No, it's like a 2-minute walk.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is like a block.
Yeah, like really close to it. So I definitely know I'm probably gonna hear something about Companion from the 7th and 8th graders because I'm new there. I'm gonna be a 6th grader, so I'm probably gonna hear something about it, and someone's gonna be like, "What?" So
What about working there? You've worked there a little bit over the summers and over some Christmas breaks. Do you like working in the bakery?
sometimes like it's really hard for me to focus on something when it's not like something that I'm very passionate about. But I mean, if I was in a good mood, I would definitely do it. Yeah.
So you're not passionate about baking bread yet?
I mean,
He loves it
Yeah.
yet.
yeah,
He likes eating the bread
right.
yeah.
a lot
Yeah.
more.
I'll be your food tester.
Well, what about from a work ethic perspective? Like when you see just the amount of work and energy that it takes to sort of keep a small business going, and it's the same for all small business owners. I certainly don't think that I'm unique in that perspective. Is that does that lean you towards being entrepreneurial in your own life, or does that lean you away from being entrepreneurial?
I definitely think I'm leaning towards it already. I experimented a little bit with starting a small business of upcycling some clothing over like the lockdown now 2020, kind of 2021 time. And yeah, I mean, it was intimidating and scary, but it also felt really good to be putting out product that I was really proud of and that I knew that I had like my hands in all the aspects of making it. And I was very much inspired by you and Grandpa, just knowing that we have that kind of entrepreneurial spirit and that like, yeah, I could do it. But it is, I mean, it's really hard. It's a lot of work. And I think the other thing that I've learned recently too is just I've gotten to work with Papa like in the office more recently over this past couple of years. I've gotten to like do my work in his office, and he like Molly was saying, I mean, he's on the floor, he's packing, he's baking, like, but you're doing like every little aspect of the business. Like people are coming in all day like, I've got a question about this, I've got a question about this, and you're like, yeah, of course, like I'd be happy to help, or I know, or I've got an idea about that. So it's really cool to see how you wear so many hats for this role as small business owner, and then that you kind of keep that attitude of like, yeah, but I got it. Like, yeah, it's a lot to juggle, but I can do it.
Yeah, well, that's cool. What about you girls? What about from like the work ethic perspective, Molly?
I think it is like what Sophie was saying, really cool that you can have your hands in everything. I'm definitely a little more intimidated by that, but I think it's important. And like what you would say when we were younger, like if you do something that you love, you don't have to work a day in your life. And I think that is very true. Like watching you at the bakery and at the factory, like you love what you do and you love supporting people, you know, at Companion and in the Companion family. And I am passionate about what others are passionate about. So I'm passionate that you're like baking and bread is, you know, something our family holds near and dear. I can't really bake for you know, to save my life, but I love, like Emerson, I love eating it and I love enjoying it. So I think if I were to lean into those entrepreneurial, you know, spirits and ways, I just want to find what I'm passionate about, because I'm still navigating that. But I think it's really inspiring.
And I think you can find that even working with somebody else, for somebody else. I don't think it has to be on your own by yourself, certainly. And so you've mentioned that when you've done your projects and when you've spoke at conferences. And I mean, you've certainly taken some leadership roles and some opportunities that I think are unique to your upbringing because of the kind of person that you are and because of those experiences. So I think you'll find your way.
Yeah, I might not open a bakery, but it will be something.
Well, and I wanted to say too that you mentioned that like you don't have to do it alone. It's been really awesome to see, especially in recent years, but of course over the whole time, the community that you've built at Companion of your kind of support team, like your upper management, your production managers, your blue shirts, your like all the way down, but you've got people who fill in where you need a little bit of help. And I think that's
Or a lot of help.
But I think that's awesome that you are willing to admit where you need that help and to bring in somebody and be like, yeah, I'm passing that over to him because he knows all about that. So I think, like I was saying before, on the one hand, you're wearing all these hats, you're able to kind of dip your toes in everywhere and get your hands in everything, but you also are able and willing to ask for help, which I think is a huge part of being a small business owner, a huge part of being a human being.
Right.
But
Lou, what do you think?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm an entrepreneur, but I would say I'm inspired by other entrepreneurs such as yourself. Like I feel like I really appreciate people who are willing to take risks. I find that really really impressive, and I'm trying to apply that to my life. And I'm not taking business risks, but I'm going places that I've never been before with people that I've never met, and I'm like trying out jobs and activities and things that are really hard at first, but they can be really rewarding. And I think that, I don't know, I spent a lot of time in production. And so I saw the business decisions from your end, and then I was packing them on the floor. Like I remember, I don't know, just talking about some of the big customers you got, and then packing hundreds and thousands of those bread bags to send them. So, yeah, I think I really have been inspired by your entrepreneurship and leadership. And I can apply that to my life, just not in like a business sense.
Yeah, and I mean, look, obviously you're still in school, so it's still early. We don't know what career path you're going to go down or what you choose to do. But I think, like Molly, I think there's plenty of ways in which you can utilize that, take advantage of that, kind of grow from that experience, from all of those experiences, in whatever way that you get involved. So I think it's cool that the coming out of it has been kind of positive. And Elliot, you're obviously, again, younger than these kids. So when you see like the amount of work that it takes and the amount of energy that it takes to keep, a small business going and all of that, what does that make you think?
It definitely scares me a little bit, but I guess the main thing I get from it is that discipline and like the mindset where it's all work and it has to be done. I can relate to that to like the sports that I play and just like to school and just life in general. There's like the discipline that I gained from you, and I guess just having like a hardworking mindset is just I just feel like it's great to be able to inherit that and see it in your minds and be able to live with it every single day.
Yeah, I think that's one of the cool things about what you bring to the table and whatever you do is you go out there and you practice every day, right? Like you recognize that it isn't just it's not driven by talent, it's driven by hard work and grit, and it takes time and it takes energy and it takes commitment and takes passion and all of those things. And if you put all of that stuff in place, hopefully the path becomes a little bit easier and the opportunities present themselves.
Yeah.
What about you, Emerson? What do you think about all this work?
I don't know.
Does it scare you?
I mean,
Can you see yourself going into business for yourself, doing something?
Maybe owning Companion in the future?
maybe. I don't know. I'm not focused in. I don't know.
Well, I mean, you're pretty young, so there's no expectation that you're super focused. But I think what your sisters have gleaned, and I think what we're sort of talking about today, is just sort of those experiences and sort of recognizing that there's a lot of work, but there's also a lot of joy that comes from all that work, and there's a lot of reward that comes from all that work, and helping other people, giving people opportunities to grow and to develop, and all of that stuff. So I think that's been the most exciting part about having a small business for me is the ability to help other people. And like Sophie said, it's kind of being able to build a team around me. It was one thing when it was a couple of people 31 years ago, but now it's a lot more than a couple of people. And now kind of moving forward, it's all about helping those folks grow personally and professionally and giving folks those opportunities. So I'm excited to see where your life takes you and where that stuff kind of comes from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because, like, what you liked is you and Grandpa were in the food business and you made Companion. So, like, whenever you work, you are happy and you're passionate about baking bread and doing those things. But I don't know if I'm more focused on maybe, like, the future of, like, what the world's going to go to and... Like,
I see you putting in a lot of work to some of the stuff you're doing with technology, with YouTube and...
Yeah, because YouTube, it's like I play my favorite game, and if I'm able to post about it to people to see, like if they like it, I'm happy that I get to do something that I really like to do and make people happy about make them laugh in the day, make their day better. I don't know.
Well, that's a nice thing to do. So, all right. So, kind of to wrap this up, I'm kind of curious. We got to grow up in a family business, and we got to share croissants, as Sophie mentioned at the outset. But what is your favorite baked good?
I should have been thinking about this the whole time.
What was it? The 2022 or like the mid 2022 chocolate chip cookies where the middle was just dough. I loved those.
You like a good underbaked chocolate chip cookie?
Chocolate chip cookie.
Okay, that's fair. Molly, what do you think?
Gosh, and I don't think you make these anymore, but almond croissants.
Ooh, the breadsticks as well.
Oh, those, yeah, the
Breadsticks
crunchy
are
ones.
great. Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know.
And the Caesar salad from the
You
cafe.
didn't you stop making them because me and Ellie were the only people who ate them.
Breadsticks, it was a lot. It's a lot of labor. It takes a lot of work to
And-
make a breadstick, and
and-
we had a little trouble during the pandemic
And when
getting enough
you
people to help.
started to make ice cream, whenever me and Elliot went to the factory, we were always getting ice cream
Yeah.
after.
The ice cream was pretty
And-
short-lived.
Yeah,
That was fun, though.
You stopped making it, but it was good.
It's a risk you were willing to take, though.
It was a risk.
Yeah, we took right.
Yeah,
You miss
hey.
100% of the shots you never take, right?
Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott, Josh Allen.
Lucy, what do you think? What's your favorite baked good?
Pain au chocolat, probably. Chocolate croissant.
Okay.
Thank you for
Thank
saying
you for
that in
the
English.
I think also I just remember getting picked up from school when you'd come from the bakery and like a fresh baguette, and we would just eat it on the way home. That might be the best thing.
Yeah, the baguette wouldn't even make it home. Like, this is for dinner tonight. Oh, okay. This
Then
is
you
for
would
the
bring
next
two,
15
one
minutes
for
in
the car ride home,
Yeah.
one for dinner.
Did you figure it out, Soph?
I might have to just go with our gooey butter cake for real. I really like
The chocolate.
our classic gooey butter was really good. Now we're doing the deep dish that we do for Caldi's, and that one's delicious too.
It's surprising. I've never had it. I've never had it before.
What have you been doing?
I don't know.
Let's go. We're going right now.
Okay.
Otherwise, I don't know. I really like the granola bar is also a good one. I have one of my best friend's dad requests one of those every time I see him. Kurt Wolfgram.
Sure.
Shout
Shout out for the Wolfgram Law Firm.
Shout out Wolfgram Law. Yeah. I don't know. So I'm a big fan of the bars, mostly, I guess, because they're the size of my face. So those are great. And the fact that the cookies are also giant, I think, is awesome. I remember when I was younger, like, just thinking that all cookies must be this big. Like, that was the standard size of cookie, and it's not,
You
evidently.
were just saying that the other day, Emerson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, when I was little, I was like, oh, this is like a good sized cookie.
That's a
This is-
cookie.
And then when I started growing up and seeing all the other bakeries, cookies and stuff, I was like, wait a second, why are these so small? Then I realized Companion makes them really big.
Companion makes them the right size.
Yeah.
Everybody else needs to catch up, is what's happened.
Well, girls and boys and everybody, I can't tell you how much this has kind of filled my bucket today. So I think shout out to my producer, JB, who sort of encouraged me to have this little Father's Day episode. But I think that's the reason to have a podcast, right? Maybe just to fill your own bucket every once in a while. But I know everybody's busy. I know it's early on the West Coast and in the mountain region. So thank you both for joining us this morning. And thank you to you guys here in St. Louis with me. But this has been really, really, really cool. And so I'm super excited and thrilled that you guys spent a minute. And I probably should have told Grandpa all along what those experiences were like for me when I was little. And so maybe I'll take the opportunity to ask now and more regularly moving into the future. But you guys are the best. I love you guys. And thanks for taking a few minutes this morning.
Love you. Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Thanks, guys.